4,980 pounds, so under 5,000 pound private bedroom, couples camper with a huge bathroom that has tons of storage and a great rear living room with some extra large windows that you're going to enjoy for couples, but has some good guest camping expansion capacity. And hey, how about the fact that the Grey Wolf is finally gray on the outside? How about that? Now, it may not seem like it at first glance, but one of the benefits of the Grey Wolf's having a slightly more shallow slide compared to Big Brother Cherokee is that when the slide is closed, it might come close to the countertop, but if you do the little sideways travel trailer shuffle, you take a quick little travel trailer two-step, you slide sideways right between it, and suddenly we have full access to the kitchen, to the bathroom, to the bedroom, to the every room, so that if you're wanting to get the RV packed up, if you're wanting to travel, if you need to make a stop, this one is extremely easy to be able to fully access when you are moving and grooving down the road. Real quick before we get going, I wanted to take a look at the bonus sleeping on this one, because this is, it's intended to be a couple's model, but you know what, if you got a couple grandkids or maybe an adult friend or two, you could definitely sleep a few people in here. What's neat when this sofa folds down, they left these sort of like very classic, RV classic side pocket stands right there. And that stuff is useful. Anytime there's a little pocket for storage, you're going to find something to do with it. And you'll find that on both sides. Now I got some wicked light coming in from these huge windows that we're going to talk all about in just a minute. But what's also great is we have this roughly 7-foot large dinette. Now, if two adults know each other pretty well, and you're not the bigger than the average bear, you could maybe sleep two adults there, but an easy one adult sleeper on this U-dinette. So, like I said, couples camper, but guest friendly for sure. And here's what's so great about this one. It gives you a nice, spacious, slide out living space, but in a shorter, lighter weight camper. And yet, it's under 5,000 pounds without the extra cost of the laminated skin and aluminum skeleton. And yet we have seen, constantly improving service records out of our Cherokee and Grey Wolf family campers. They are absolutely getting the job done. So here in the dining table in, sort of like visiting mode, as it were, camp mode, we've got sealed edge countertops. But what's cool is you're going to find that not just on the dining arrangement, but also like here on the entertainment counter. You'll also find the same thing over here in the kitchen, in the bathroom, anywhere that there's some sort of top, it's going to be a pressed membrane top. I'm all about this new skirted sink. We're going to come back to that. There's a lot to cover, and I don't want to get myself out of order. So we've got a lot of windows everywhere. But what's neat is anywhere that you sit or sleep, you're going to always be within reach of like some sort of charger, because we've all got some sort of level of tech addiction nowadays, it seems. At least a bunch of us. I know I do. And, hopefully you're doing better off than I am in that regard. But I know that's something I suffer from. My household, we have so many USB charging devices that when we go camping, we're always fighting for slots. So in the Cherokee Grey Wolf family, where they give you more, it's always nice. Now, some small campers like this, not many, but some will be non-centralized air. You'll find this does have centrally ducted air through the whole thing, which is critical in a floor plan like this, where you have hard privacy doors that will cut off the bedroom and the bathroom and the living cabin. So there's not a great air exchange. You need the centralized ducting for this thing to remain comfortable. Now you've got a very cinema style sort of pseudo theater armrest right here. And of course that can fold up to get out of the way. And remember, we can fold that down for storage. But I do like the big side stands. We already saw them in sleep mode. But in general camp mode, having the ability to like set down a dinner plate or a drink next to you is great. And these big windows, once again, giving you all that tasty light and visibility. Speaking of light, over here, well, one, we've got a newer, kind of lighter, brighter decor. I love the look of these things. The look of all this is fantastic. And finally, in the current, actual Grey Wolf generation, all these little blue accent lights that they've had inside and outside, they finally really make sense to me. They were always a cool night light, but the color contrast didn't really match the color palette to me. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not the type, I'm lucky that I have to wear a uniform to work every day, so I don't have to choose my clothes, because colors are not my strong suit. But I could look at the old ones and say, I don't know that I'm in love with how that all looks together. This looks amazing. Everything looks like it was designed to be cohesive and work together. Now over here in the kitchen, they kind of break up some of the potential woodwork monotony with those bevel glass inserts inside of those hardwood cabinet door frames. And they put a lot of lighting in the kitchen. Oh, I missed a light. Look at that. There's all kinds of light in here, and I already missed one. So they put a ton of lighting in this thing. Now back here to the kitchen area proper. So we're going to start with the Furrion flush mount stove with the tempered glass cover and the night light knobs. Once again, that blue accent making sense in here. We've already talked about the countertops, but circling back to that beautiful skirted stainless steel sink, that is something I've seen in Montana and Pinnacle luxury fifth wheels. And now I'm seeing it here in travel trailers. And once again, the Cherokee family has found a way to separate themselves and differentiate themselves from nearly everyone else in the market. Big, giant farm sink. And they put a little knob on the front of that there so that when you're in transit, it can't bounce out and fall around. Now, below the sink here, because of the location of stuff like the water pumps, that is going to be pretty minimal, but you can put a small wastebasket in there. What I do like, though, is they are still including a large pair of full extension drawers. Speaking of which, we can't even start to talk about drawers until we looked at the big 40-inch extension drawers under the dinette right here. So, do you remember that scene in Crocodile Dundee where the guy whips out a knife on Paul Hogan and he's like, that's not a knife. And he pulls this huge like Bowie knife out of his back pocket and he's like, that's a knife. Right here, that's a drawer. That's a serious drawer. Plywood box, 40-inch full extension for maximum easy access storage to your everything under that dinette bench and seating area right there. Speaking of the dinette, we've got this huge cross breeze picture window. You see it does slide open for airflow. All of your windows here in your living area are going to be pleated shades, including there's also a nice little sunshade over this skylight above in case you feel like an ant under a magnifying glass that's not going to cook you. Now, of course, for fire code reasons, this one does have to be a metal mini blind because they don't have near the sort of ability to catch fire, which obviously you don't want to have happen. Now, in the past, they had used like a sort of foam brick wall accent right there, and it looked pretty, but it was murder to clean. Well, they swapped that out for an extremely high-definition printed wall panel to still give you that look, that sort of like log cabin hearth in a way, but now it's easy to clean because it's just a wall panel. We don't generally include TVs in our Grey Wolves, Cherokees, and Wolf Pups at Haylett RV because we found for the same money or less, I can get you the same size or better TV, typically of a higher grade, from the Walmart or Target of your choice or Amazon or whatever. So that's just one of those areas where we're always trying to find what's the best value to our customer. In this case, adding a TV from the factory, it's not the thing that's going to best serve you. But if you want a TV before you take it home, you give us a call. That's easy stuff for us to work out, guys. What is nice is this 30-inch electric space heating Furrion fireplace. Right below that, however, that is remote controlled, by the way. And if you just want to kick it on for LED visuals alone, you can do that without the heat. But it does look cool. And once again, the color package on that does, like when it's lit up, it looks better in here. Even though the unit hasn't changed, because the interior decor has changed, it looks better in here than it ever has. You've got a handy little device/charge station below that with your Furrion Bluetooth stereo that does have all sorts of auxiliary entertainment expansion options, which is also one of the reasons why you have that pocket right there. And a handy clutter cutting shoe garage below. Let me back up. Try not to trip and fall over anything, although that would be funny. I have done that before in an RV. By the way, guys, this little thing right here, this is called like a cold air dump. When you get to your campsite to get your living room cooled off, you leave this open. But after that, you want to close this. Don't leave that open the whole time. You can actually damage your air conditioner by leaving that open. I've noticed on like the user forums in which I'm members, I see a lot of people with pictures with those left open all the time, and then they're saying, well, my RV doesn't cool off properly. Well, maybe you weren't instructed properly on how to use it. Also, one of the differences between a Cherokee and a Grey Wolf is no floor vents. Cherokees have floor ducted heating. Grey Wolf does not. They use cabinet ducted heating. It's slightly less efficient, but their floor plans are smaller, so that doesn't really matter. And now it's just easy to clean carpetless main deck right here. working our way through this huge walk-through bathroom. Really, when I saw this bathroom, I looked at it and I went, somebody took a page out of the Rockwood playbook. Because this is, I mean, almost part for part, the way it's laid out, a match for so many walk-through Rockwood middle bathrooms. Rockwood being the #1 selling laminated trailer on the market. Forest River's #1 laminated trailer, and Cherokee being, you know, the #2 selling and Forest River's #1 selling conventional class camper. It kind of makes sense to me that they're comparing notes, and I don't think it's an accident that they're both top of their class in their respective classes at Forest River, and both nearly top at the same time in the marketplace. We've got this 6.5 foot tall, huge linen cabinet over here. You could easily put one of those little maybe tension rods or something, or you could find ways to turn that into an extra hanging closet if you need it. Now the radius shower with the skylight and full surround paneling, you know, that's just there for extra elbow room, easy entry, protection, not a travel trailer tub. We have tons of floor space in front of this toilet right here, so you're never going to have to do the twist 'em up bathroom yoga. You will also find, again, kind of in common with Rockwood, well, not kind of, exactly in common with Rockwood, the larger Max Air vent fan here in the bathroom area. And they leave these doors slotted so that you can actually use this to exhaust hot air and recycle in with cooler air at night in the spring or the fall if you're camping and don't want to run the AC full time. More cabinet, more linen space, and that's what's awesome about this, is that double cabinet space in front of that foot flush toilet. And more of that sealed edge countertop stuff with kitchen matching tile backsplash, and a large sink and corner medicine cabinet right here, so you can actually keep all the clutter off of your countertop space. We have a very private, simple but effective front bedroom area right here. What is kind of cool is they put a bigger viewing window over here so that you can keep a better eye on your campsite. Plus, the extra window makes it look and feel bigger, and that's part of the reason why you have the mirrored hanging closets on both sides. Now, you have household and USB plugs on both sides of the bed. Plenty of lighting in here. There is storage below the bed, and directly across from the bed, if you are so inclined, you notice how this TV bracket right here matches the living room? That's what's kind of cool in the Cherokee Grey Wolf and Wolf Pup family, is they use matching TV brackets inside and in 2 areas, bedroom and living, and then outside on the side of the camper. So you can actually, if you add one TV, it can float to 3 different zones on this RV. Or, of course, you could just grab multiple screens and plug them all in and go to town. Now, I'm not a fool, is contrary to popular belief. But I know that nothing ever pleases 100% of people. However, I do think that the current color palette here, the you know, platinum on graphite with the dark navy stripe, I think it's gonna please a lot more people than the brown, and red generation. I never thought the brown, and red looked bad. I thought it looked very classic. But this, to me, looks very modern and cutting edge, and that's exactly what they did with their interior, too. They got away from brown, and they brought it up to date, like, very quickly. It's incredible how quickly they did all that with the updated decals and graphics and skin package and everything. Now, up front here in front of that stabilizer jack, you do have a gas grill quick connect if you want to bring along a grill, and what's nice is that's not located under the awning. A lot of people get concerned about the heat and the fumes and the grease and the smoke from the grills. I don't really think it's that big a deal, but I understand folks' concern, and now it's just not a concern. Good storage under the bed right here, and we do have a simple side mount solar prep plug right there. Very handy for boondocking. This does not have roof mount solar prep, but there are things roof mount solar prep can't do. Roof and side solar each have their own advantages. The cool part about the side solar here is it's easy to reach, and you can park the camper in the shade if you're even interested in solar, and then you can chase the panels with or the sun with the panels, as it were. Now, Grey Wolf rides on a custom engineered integrated chassis. What that means, guys, if we look down here at the A-frame of the RV, you can see that it actually passes through into the chassis. That's not necessarily any stronger. Because Jayco does the same thing, and I talked to Jayco's engineers about that. They said, you know, we tested that, and then we tested a traditional bolt or weld-on A-frame down here, and we found that they were equally strong. But what this allows for is the whole camper body sits lower to the ground now. So it's got a lower exterior height, lower center of towing gravity, little less overhead clearance for people who are worried about parking something inside. This is a little easier. We've got an extra thick painted aluminum nose sweep right here, and basically the nose skin on this is like 200 or 250% thicker than the sidewall skin. So the whole nose is like roughly diamond plate kind of stuff, so it's just going to be a little more rugged. Power awning and tongue jack make setting and braking camp very simple and easy. Over here, we've got kind of all of our hookups in one spot on this floor plan, which is something of which I'm always a fan. The black tank flush outside utility shower with hot and cold water are pretty darn handy, so that you you can rinse off. Maybe you want to clean some fish if you went fishing. You can rinse off your feet if you've been on the in the sand or something like that. And one of the upgrades we generally will apply to these here is enclosed holding tanks. And it's just that extra little bit of protection, I think, when and where you want it. So if it is going to dip below freezing overnight, it's that extra nudge to get you out of Dodge safe and sound. If it's going to hard freeze, you want to get this thing winterized. That's just common sense. Now your slide walls here, they've got a rough cottage cheesy texture. That's a technical term, by the way. The idea there is that it's going to be a seal gripping slide wall, so that it really grabs that slide wiper seal, and it lets the wiper seal do its job. Now, good look at those huge rear windows. Between the upper clearance lights, you do have a backup camera prep. So if you're looking for reverse only or in motion cameras, this is going to be set for the Furion mount system. Again, we typically have that on the shelf here at Haylett RV. It's an easy thing for us to toss in if you're interested. 200-pound rated cargo rack on the back. You could maybe strap some bikes to it. And you also can keep the spare tire on it and still put the rack down. There's no need to ever drop that. Or rather take the spare tire off just to use the cargo rack. The awning and the speakers actually have blue accent lights just like those that we already saw above the slide out. During the day they don't look really neat, but at night, especially with the new exterior color package that they have on these, everything is awesome, everything looks good, everything looks the way that it should. I think that's the best way I can describe it. So over here in the entry door, a couple more things to hit on. We've got the MORryde step above stable steps, and once again, even the color accents on those, MORryde having the blue accents, it looks very much like the rest of the camper. Funny little side note, little history note, the reason MORryde uses that shade of blue, that's actually Jayco blue. Jayco was one of the first manufacturers to get into MORryde and do a big partnership and package on their suspension systems. So they gave MORryde their Jayco blue color code for paint purposes, and MORryde just kind of hung on to it ever since. The larger entry handle, easy for coming and going, and speaking of which, if it is a windy day, we've got an anti-slam door here. It won't bang itself against the side of the trailer, but what's neat is this also means it doesn't need a holdback, so the door opens further. Now there's a little rubber stopper right there, so it's not going to bang into the trailer proper. But the point is that sharp little corner, it's further away from like your picnic table and stuff like that. And then of course you can heave the door and it doesn't slam itself shut. Very easy to push by hand, however. So outside TV hookups that we kind of talked about right there. Again, inside 2 areas, then outside TV hookups. Blue LED speakers behind these lights. And one quick note on these tires right here. They've got tire pressure indicators on their valve stems, so that you can look at that. If it flips from green to red, you instantly know that you need to put some air in your tires. You should only be really needing to check tire pressure when it's cold. Now, if you're driving down the road and the tire's warm and it looks low, obviously you need to put some air in it. But you don't have to like constantly stop and check air pressure in transit. That's just a little general tip from your Uncle Josh right there. Quick construction points, and then we'll wrap her up. We've got a full walk-on roof, rated for 2,800 plus pounds, 3/8 roof decking, 5-inch arched roof trusses, 16-inch on center walls. Actually, I'm sorry, no, Gray Wolf, 16 inches normal. The Cherokee families have an average 12-inch on center wall stud, some a little closer, some further apart, but an average of 12, so a little heavier wall structure. Maybe that's part of the reason they're holding together well for us. 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor decking with floor studs every 12 inches on center, running the length of the trailer. It is a well-built, well-appointed little camper. It's easy to look at it and see the aluminum wavy skin and discredit it as entry level, but it's kind of funny. If you look at where they were versus where they are, what you actually see, the more you look at them, is that a Gray Wolf has defined itself as having laminated features without the laminated price tag. And that's really, I think, the best way I could sum them up in a nutshell. Short of that, Give us a call. We do hitching, pieces, parts, trades, financing, truck and trailer package deals, RV deliveries, and everything in between. So take care, except for hidden dealer fees. We don't do those. We'll leave that to someone else. Anyway, so take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.